Don't get me wrong, chat. It is 100% incorrect for me to do what I'm doing. Do not do what I'm doing. It is a bad idea. So I'm playing, there we go. I'm playing on the Steam client, which is technically in early access. It is not actually fully released. And as a result, there are some bugs. I have a lot of complaints about Marvel Snap. The majority of them revolve around irritating things, not game-breaking things. Is it fun? Maybe. So we'll get into that, Alan, or we might as well get into it now. So I went on a relatively long tirade last night about it because I personally don't, and even at the beginning of the stream, so if you watch, if you catch this on YouTube later, you'll see it at the beginning, or hear it at the beginning. Ben Brode, the people know him mostly from Hearthstone, right? He's obviously been involved in other games, but people know him from Hearthstone. There are a lot of complaints you can level at Hearthstone. He did a long tweet thread relatively recently about the output variance as opposed to input variance, and I think the input variance is better than output variance. You can look at Hearthstone for output variance, where I do a thing and then, hey, random things happen, as opposed to input variance, where it's, well, my deck is the variable, and then the games play out similarly. Obviously, there's other stuff. But for the most part, I don't like the way that Ben Brode's design process works for a lot of the games that he's designed, namely Hearthstone and Marvel Snap. Now, that does not mean it's bad. It means I don't like it. And there's a difference between me not liking it and somebody else liking it, or not liking them. I dislike it for other reasons. It doesn't matter. Point is that it is okay for me to not like it. That doesn't make it bad. Now, there are times, like, you can dislike something and it's bad, or you could dislike something and it's good. You could also like something and it's bad, or like something and it's good, when we're talking about games here. And all of those options are fine. This game looks cool. It's free to play. You can jump in. Here's the selling point, chat. I will say this. I actually dislike this a lot, but it is great for a lot of people. So there is a season pass you can buy. Right now, it's Miles Morales, Spider-Man. You can get all this stuff. There are parts of it that are free. But this is the collection track. So there are multiple parts of this that are relevant. One, you can't buy packs of cards. You literally cannot. There are no packs to buy. The way you get packs, and I'm trying to scroll all the way to the beginning, or the way you get cards is when you upgrade a card, you move up this track according to how high you upgrade it. If you upgrade it from common to uncommon, you go 1 level. If you go uncommon to rare, it's 2 levels. Basically this chart. How do you upgrade a card and what does it do? Well, when you see like Electra here, how she has these green arrows, that means I can upgrade her. You go here, I can upgrade her from rare, blue, to epic. So now it changes the aesthetic of the card, just the visuals. The card is identical. It doesn't get extra powers, it doesn't get stronger, it doesn't do anything. You just upgrade it, and that means that now we go to the collection screen. I get 4 levels, and now I get a mystery card. I got Sabretooth. When this is destroyed, return it to your hand. It costs 0. That actually could work for a different deck. But yes, as Silver's pointing out, the way they make money in this game, you can buy currency. There's gold up here, which you can't see in credits. Credits are what you upgrade with. The gold here is what you buy the alternate arts with. They have a variety of different things. This rotates each day. You can also buy with credits. You can get the upgrades. I wouldn't recommend it. You could buy more credits with the gold, and the gold is the paid for thing. The other thing you pay for, as mentioned, is the season pass. And it will give you also alternate arts of some of the characters. Right now, you can get, I've gotten at least Carnage and Spider-Woman in packs. I think Miles Morales you can only get from this right now. Not 100% sure. But as far as free-to-play goes, it is very free to play. You can't just buy packs and get a bigger collection. You must play the game to really progress. Sure, you could buy the season pass and you'll progress faster, but you have to play games to do it. There's also a player level that you get. It has the mobile thing if there's 80 different currencies and different things, and you know there's constantly stuff going off. They obviously have their quest system. and stuff like that. The issue I have with it is I think what I'm going to call the tutorial lasts way too long. As you'd imagine, when you start out, you have a very weak collection. Your cards don't do a lot of interesting things, and they're basically just stat blocks. So you can't do unique strategies until you unlock more cards. Like every other game, it makes sense. But the problem is that you have to play so many games to get beyond that's what was killing my enthusiasm for the game. Dr. D's. D's what? This is probably the best card game I played in a while. I wouldn't agree, but it is a pretty solid game. It is a pretty solid game. Just separate your thoughts? I'm not sure what you're saying, Alan. It's actually pretty strategic, Forgo. Just separate your cards. So the reason that I didn't in the previous game, first to fill the... Okay, so we have to do this. So the first person to fill this gets a free 6 cost. This is closer to poker than anything else I played. There's a lot of poker involved, I think. Alright, so they have a movement-based deck because they played multiple man. Obviously, they're going to have effects that make it move. So this will immediately fill this location. I don't know that we actually want to do this, but this will get it done faster. I don't know why they got this. Oh, no, we did. Okay. I saw an effect go to their hand, so... We have Thanos. At the start of the game, shuffle 6 Infinity Stones into your deck, so he's just 0 cost, whatever right now. This game is meant to be played in 5-ish minute segments, so it's faster to play through and has simpler mechanics. There's still a lot of decisions to be made. I don't think that it's... Like, yes, it's simpler. That doesn't mean that it is less deep than other games. So we're not going to play anything this turn in case we top deck the Infinite. It's entirely possible we don't, but we'll see. This game is less about wins and losses, more about your cube management. That is one of the reasons that I actually really dislike this game. Right. Like, I legitimately don't like the game because of that aspect. So, they can win the center pretty easily. So, we have to, like, Infinite here because they played Hobgoblin. Then we Thanos here. So, like, they could win this one or this one. They can win one of them easily. Will they win two? I don't know. Killmonger's a problem. So they Hulkbuster here, which attaches itself to another card, but we still get it, and thanks to the Thanos, we take it down. GG. So I got 4 cubes out of that. But yeah, the game does revolve around cube management. So, as you can see here, I got 4 cubes out of this. The goal is to hit level 100, which is infinity. That's the highest level. And there is strategy to, do you gamble your cubes or not? You know, the decks, because they're only like 12 cards, it is very likely that you are going to know 11 out of the 12 cards out of your opponent's deck, because they are the most efficient thing. So remember I was talking about pools earlier on the collection track? So I'm at level 266. I forget when you hit pool 2, but there's 3 pools. You can only play against people in your pool. So you literally will not, when you start the game, play against people with way more powerful cards unless they randomly get generated like we saw from that location. You just straight up don't even see those cards unless they get randomly generated. So you won't play against them until your collection is a certain level. It's a balancing thing for the ladder. So the idea is you want to try and get to wherever you want to get to on the ladder, you know, whatever your personal goal is, and it's management of your cube gambling. I don't like to gamble, real life or in this. That's why I literally snap turn 0 every single game. And I never retreat. Oh, sweet, we got a cool variant. We got a pixel variant for Bishop. Anytime I stream snap, well, I don't want to say literally any time, because if there were, let's say there was a Marvel Snap tournament announced tomorrow, and it mattered where you were on the ladder, like it would only invite people at Infinity, which is the highest rank, or something like that, then yes, I would stop doing this. Because I understand the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and the thoughts about that sort of stuff. But I just don't care. I legitimately do not want to engage with that part of the game. I think it's dumb. I don't like, I told you, I don't like gambling, so I'm not going to. Competitive mode and tournaments are coming in the near future. They're coming in the future. I wouldn't count on near. Once they introduce their casual mode, where you can challenge people, yes, they will exist. People will 100% run tournaments for this. In which case, the entire gambling mechanic with the cubes just goes out the window, because who cares? You could, I guess, threaten somebody with it, where, like, oh, well, I'm going to snap to get in their head, and sure, whatever. Okay, you got me. You got this thing again. So the gambling is just betting that you win? Basically, yes. I forgot to... So that what I just did, where it goes, oh, snap, that means I snapped. And it doubles, again, it doubles the amount of ladder points that are up for grabs. My opponent has the opportunity to snap also at any point during the game, and then it'll double it again. The most you can have is 8. Tournaments will be based on cube accumulation. Everyone starts a certain number, as a certain time limit to play. That seems really weird. But, I mean, I get it. I don't know how you would track that, other than the honor code. I guess you could submit screenshots. Yeah, you don't have to snap. If your opponent snaps, you're not required to. It's not like, oh, I raise you, and then you have to call. Or something like that, if we're talking poker stuff. This is played a card. We don't have to do that. But yeah, you could just never snap, and it would basically, well, it wouldn't be the same. It's actually, don't get me wrong, chat, it is 100% incorrect for me to do what I'm doing. Do not do what I'm doing. It is a bad idea. It is a really bad idea. Part of me is doing it for a gimmick. Part of me is I just don't care. In case they have Killmonger, we're doing this. They've already done a number of player tournaments on Twitch. Ah, that's interesting. I mean, if you're streaming, but how did they do that? Like, if you randomly queue into somebody, or is it just a race to see who could get the most cubes in a time frame? Because honestly, that seems miserable. That seems somewhat miserable. We gotta skip for the Infinite. So is that officially how they're gonna do it, Ray Ray? Or is that just one organizer is gonna do it that way? That's brutal. It's kind of brutal. Well, that's where I wanted the Infinite to go, I guess. So this is 9. This is 13. I don't know what they could have that could get them 13 here. Like, I don't think I can lose this location, but hypothetically they could play like 3 or 4 things here and win this location. Plus, we have the Mr. Fantastic buffing this, so it's probably Odin. Yeah, but Odin does nothing. Right now, it's most humans accumulated in the time, or most humans accumulated. Whoa, most cubes accumulated in the time frame. Eventually, it will be head to head to head to head. Fair. I think that's actually an interesting way to try and make it work. I think that's an interesting way to do it. I think they're just going for the high score here. So for the record, chat, if the locations are tied, it does go by who's winning by more. So, like, the fact that they are winning by 70 here, if the other locations were tied, they win. I think this is the featured location right now, right? It's not telling me. So they sometimes do featured locations, which means that that particular location will show up more frequently. Like, they had one a few days ago or last week that was, I think it was Bar Sinister. I forget the name, but basically when you play a guy to it, it copies that guy to fill the location. And they've had other ones that do other stuff. It just rotates which location it is. I don't know if any of the ones that have been chosen as the feature one are new ones or not. Like, this is the introduction to it. But yeah, that's basically the game. I think that there is strategy to the game. I think there's enough to the game without the cube mechanic to make an interesting game. I think you might have to, like, would it be an interesting game forever? I don't know. But it's also supposed to only be 5 minutes. Have you explained how to accumulate cards? Yes, we were talking about that before, about going through the collection track and emphasizing it, because that is unique, and it's also something that I really don't like about the game. I think it needs to be adjusted. I think if it gets adjusted, it would be fine. But the problem is you spend way too much time with super boring cards. This looks like a poop game. You can absolutely play like 10 games of Marvel Snap before you finish pooping. I'm not even joking. It's extremely free-to-play friendly if you keep playing. So this is my big complaint about Marvel Snap as far as the collection goes. I legitimately did not want to keep playing because I'm legitimately bored. Now, that's me. Again, game is not inherently bad. That's me. I just didn't like it. I did not want to play 7,000 games to unlock these cards. Obviously, I have at this stage. But I still feel like none of these decks do anything interesting. Constipation could be 50 games. Ruh-roh. But, like, the acquisition of these cards, most of these decks are super boring early on. Virtually everything is just a stat block. So I have a move deck, I have a discard deck, I have a Devil Dinosaur deck, which is probably the most interesting one, just because it's lol big numbers. And then I have this Infinite deck. I don't think that the early player experience is good. I think the early player experience is miserable, and it's Marvel carrying people through it. I don't give a damn at all about Marvel. Like, I just don't care. If this was something else, like people who were talking about my Darkwing Duck shirt, if this was Darkwing Duck, yeah, I would completely ignore it, and I would be all in. But it's not. So I have nothing to drive me to say keep playing. At that time. Now it's just, like, it's whatever. I think this is a game you play on a break from work. Yeah. You play a couple games here and there. It's not... I don't think it was ever designed to be super tournament competitive, I'm grinding a million games sort of game. Now, because of the gambling aspect and the relation to poker with the cubes, I think that it is intended to be over the long haul. Any given short time frame, it's just like gambling. Yeah, you could hit the highs, you could hit the lows, but over the course of a gazillion games, the better players win out. But in any given game, something wild could happen because of all the variance. And a lot of people like that. I don't. I think the opposite is true. It isn't that Snap is free-to-play friendly. It's very pay-to-win unfriendly. Those are different things. I mean, that's also true, Atona. Yeah, pull 1 is to teach you the basics. Or it's a little more nuanced. Pull 3 is the crazy stuff. Agreed. But the problem is and and I am a unique case. If I'm a random person that's like, hey, I like the Marvel movies, there's a new Marvel game on my phone, let me try it. This is aimed at them, not me who's played card games for 30 years. And immediately it's like, okay, I need something more than this. I'm not playing just war. That's what the early, and I've talked about it on other streams, but basically all of my early games, I was winning 50-50s because I was just guessing properly, because it boiled down to I'm winning two of the three locations on going into the last turn. If my opponent plays at one location, I win. If they play at the other location, I lose. And that's basically what it boiled down to every time, and I was picking it right, so I was scaling up really fast. And I was beating people that clearly were either bots or very bad at the game, or both, because the bots are terrible. But I wanted more than that, and unfortunately, until I get into like Pool 3, I don't think anything interesting is happening. You're a DC fan, though? Well, I mean, I have my complaints about DC as well, but Pool 3 doesn't start until over 400 levels. If nothing good happens until you're 400 levels deep, that means the game is a bad distribution method. That's my argument, Atona. Exactly. The game gives you more cards early on than it does later. Absolutely, but so does every game. Every game does that. Every free-to-play game is going to front-load stuff so that way you are able to, you know, they get their hooks in you, and then you come back. DC has good games. Do they, though? Do they, though? What's funny is Atona, because they're in chat, was right before Marvel Snap was announced for early access. Not early access now. We're talking like the original early access. There was a DC game that was supposed to get produced by Cryptozoic that was also lane-based. Also featured, like, probably not the cube mechanic. I don't think they had anything like that, but we were waiting on details for it. And then all of a sudden, Marvel Snap gets announced, and suddenly that thing's vaporware. It's kind of funny. Yeah, that game is not coming, Atona. That game is not happening. Site says now 2023. Yeah, they 100% went back to the drawing board and went, oh, that's bad. I need more water. Always snap, never retreat. Your power here is granted to other locations as well. Seems pretty good. Seems okay. DC be like, wait, Marvel just did a thing. Well, I guess we lose again. No, not on the animated stuff. DC cartoons are awesome. Real talk. Cards that cost 1 can't be played here. Spectacular. It's like a caveman touching fire. Oh, that's bad. You only touch the oven once, or the stove once, right, chat? Wait, what did you do? Oh, you Scorpion. So they played Scorpion. It reduces the power of everything in my hand. When you play a card here, add a copy to another location. So there's a risk here that if we don't find the Infinite, we just lose. So you're going to play Marvel Snap the rest of the stream? Well, I'll play it some. I might switch to Ghostbusters. We'll see. True, I've watched the DC cartoons on HBO Max. They're good. Your Devil Dino deck is Devil Dino, Moon Girl, Angela, Nightcrawler, Ant-Man, Cable, White Queen, America Chavez, Scarlet Witch, Sentinel, I forgot the rest. I can pull up mine. That sounds pretty close. It's pretty close to mine. I don't have Scarlet Witch, I don't think. Batman cartoons are good. Justice League cartoons are also good. I watched the Constantine ones. Oh no! They hit us with a Killmonger. This game is over, chat. Like, the game might legitimately be over right now. We 100% have to draw the Infinite. We have 2 turns. 5, 6. Yeah, we have 2 turns to draw it. If we don't draw it, we lose. Play a card from your deck at this location. That seems bad. Leech. Oh, they played this and got rid of Leech. So we pass and hope we find Infinite. Save the cube? Never. Killmonger's broken? Not true. Killmonger's really good. I think Killmonger could hypothetically get nerfed. I don't think it's broken. It's hard for me to ever feel, and it's not impossible, but it's hard for me to ever feel in card games that an answer card, something that literally says, well, kill a thing, is broken. Alright, Ray, thanks for hanging out. Take it easy. Jubilee pulling Infinite is great. That would actually be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. That's Morbius. It's Morbin time, chat. It's Morbid Swarm. I don't even know what that card is. Apparently I saw it before. Infinite. Chat, we topped that. Always draw the Infinite. Always draw the Infinite. You know what's funny is it's not necessarily going to win everything for us. It's a good chance, but it's not necessarily. What does Swarm do? When this is discarded, add 2 copies. Okay. LOL, Infinite! Yo, that guy is mad. Our opponent is pissed. I would be pissed. I'd be super pissed. I think Killmonger isn't broken, but it doesn't mean those heavy these one heavy decks need armor. Yes. The is that literally what it's called, armor? Or is it called something else? And maybe Cosmo. I don't think Cosmo is a good answer to Killmonger. I don't know how I feel about Cosmo. I've run it just kind of... That's part of the reason why I'm running Enchantress, because I don't... Oh, I do have Scarlet Witch. I think Scarlet Witch is pretty good. What was the other thing that people were... There was something people were saying to run in the Infinite deck, and I don't remember what it was. But I don't think I have it. Armor's indeed Armor's name? Yes. The stupidest name... Like, this is stupid. This is a stupid name. So that's my version of Devil Dinosaur. That's my version of Devil Dinosaur. The Cosmo is because I was missing something. I forget what it was. I also, at the time that I built it, had the need to complete a quest. Also, I know the deck list is kind of screwed up. I don't feel like fixing it right now. We'll worry about it in a minute. Turn 0 snap every game, as long as I remember. After turn 4, move all cards to one location to the right. We're gonna wait. This is why I like DC. Oh, come on. There are some dumbass things in DC, too. Let's not get into trying to pissing contest the two. And yes, I'm just messing with you, chat. I don't actually care. But seriously, they're all stupid. So they all swap. Fantastic. There's a card that's called Strong Guy. I guess it's superpower. Well, I have Strong Guy, so I know what he does. Being weak. That's pretty ironic. Wait, what? How did you... I legitimately was not looking, chat. I don't know what just happened. How was he able to play Odin? Oh, no, he played Jubilee, which got Odin, which then Jubileed again to get the White Tiger. That's pretty busted. That's pretty busted, chat. Like, that's not fair. That's legit not fair. That's peak location ability? True. True story. You know what's funny is we might be able to beat this here. I'm not playing the Devil Dinosaur because I want to dupe it with Moon Girl, and then we can play 2 Devil Dinosaurs on turn 6, hypothetically. I'm okay with that location just because we get extra cards. Problem is that we're not going to draw any more cards, which is fine, because we're just going to dupe them all. The only thing I'd want is Iron Man. That's cheating. He's cheating. Crazy. Like, that's a busted turn, too. They must have had Scorpion. What are the odds that they get 2 Scorpions? Wait, we got Hobgoblin. -9, huh? So that auto wins this location? Wait, no, because we have to give it to our opponent, right? Yeah. So we can't play it at either of these. It has to be played here. I think that's fine. They'll have one power here, which is awkward. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10, so it's 14. So we can't win this location, but we can win here and here. They literally can't play cards. Lucky you duplicated Devil Dino, the chances are like 1 in 6. What, to draw both? Or you mean just to dupe it? Because it always dupes left to right. GG. Despite the stupid-ass opener they had, we'll take our 8 cubes. GG. But yeah, that's why I played the Hobgoblin that turn, which honestly, I don't even know how we got that. I was not paying attention. Like, I legitimately was not paying attention. I like the Devil Dinosaur deck. That's fun to play for me. Oh, fun in the realm of Snap. This is the thing I hate about mobile games, that there's 80 things you have to click on. Like, just let me click one button and be done with it. This is stupid. This is stupid. But yeah, duping the Devil Dinosaur is fun. Hard play cards just sounds funny to me. I posted that screenshot. I think I posted it in Discord, but yes. This is, as the kids say, is a feel. It's hard to play cards. I don't understand how ties work. Sometimes when we have the same power as opponent, the game just decides you win or lose. So the tiebreaker is this. Let's say you're tied on 2 locations. Obviously, you wouldn't have a tie. Well, I take that back. The better example is, say you're winning location 1. Like, you, Ander, are winning location 1. I'm winning location 2. And on location 3, we're tied. That would be a tie. How do the tiebreakers work? Whoever is winning their location by more. So if you're winning by 10, but I'm winning by 11, I win. All right, cloning that. So when we play a card here, we get a copy. That's actually really good for us for obvious reasons. We got Devil Dinosaur. We got Iron Man. Flashing Lights Warning, yeah. The thing I love about snapping on turn 0 is there's no chance your opponent has any idea what you're doing. It's like, why are they doing that? This is one of the annoying locations, because it shuffles the rocks in randomly, but I happen to draw a rock, so, like, I guess I lose. I literally have no cards to play until turn 4. Bucky Barnes, when this is destroyed, create the Winter Soldier in its place. So I'm assuming this is a Carnage deck, but I have no idea what this card does. Everything costs less. We actually do want to dump our hand to some degree. So we'll dupe this, this, and this. And that'll max out our hand. Winter Soldier has 6 power. Ooh, Bucky Barnes. Death Clock. Or Death Lock? Whatever this guy's name is. They actually get the Angel. Alright, so they have 19 here. We should be able to beat that. I mean, we have double Iron Man, for heaven's sake. I only like this. I don't know who the hell Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur are. I know they go together because I know of the characters from the Verse 2 PCG, but I don't have any idea like who Moon Girl is or why she has a dinosaur, or a Devil Dinosaur for that matter. Why do they have 23? Oh, because of Blue Marvel. That's actually potentially problematic. We have another Devil Dinosaur? Oh, because we cloned it. We cloned it, that's why. More Bucky Barnes. Big shock. So we're going to have to win these 2 locations. I don't think there's any way for them to get the Angel. I guess they could Killmonger their own guy, but that won't free it up for them to play anything. In this case, we should have played the Cable to the middle. Could absolutely lose this game. Because we can't play 2 things here. That's 12. This is 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 15. So they need to play a 6 or bigger. It's entirely possible that they can win this location. Ah, whatever, who cares? Is Devil Dino a villain in Marvel? No, I think it's a good guy. Because I assume, I don't know. I legitimately have no idea. GG. Got him. I'm pretty sure it's a good guy, but I could be wrong. Somebody will have to let me know. YouTube, let me know down in the comments. I don't know anything about any of the comic stuff. Alright, so here's the hot location. As you can see, it's going to appear more often, cloning VATS. I don't know when that happened, because that was not there when we logged in. So, whatever. I'm debating new card for Snap ongoing. Opponent loses 1 every turn of everything. There's a location that does that. I'm assuming you mean power? What do you mean loses 1 every turn of everything, though? Because there's a location that literally says at the end of every turn, everything here loses 1 power. And that's why it annoys me. So, it's tough to get upset with Snap because the games are so fast. It's not like I played a 60-minute Magic control mirror or pick your game of choice, and then it turns out, hey, they top deck something on the billionth turn, or some other variance came in, or whatever. Or I really lost the game on turn 2, but I stuck it out for reasons because, I don't know, whatever. There are reasons to do it. Bottom line is that you're not playing very long games. It's not like you're playing League or Dota and the game goes on for 3 hours. The games are like 2 minutes to 5 minutes. So any of the variants, you can just wash out with volume. I don't think that's a good excuse to have the variance. That being said, maybe the game would just be so exceptionally boring, but I think there's something to the game. I like what Marvel Snap offers as a game, and I think there's interesting things that could happen, but I think this has been brotified in that, you know, the lol so random sort of things that happen, and the whole cube thing is, I just don't care about it. YouTube, let me know in the comments this dangerous phrase on the topic of comic book related. I'll just ban people from the comments. I don't care. I just do not care. It doesn't bother me. Like I said before, I think that the game is fun if you ignore the whole snapping thing. Now, that's for me personally. I just don't care about the snapping. It's completely irrelevant to me. I think that actually playing the game as a game, as compared to, so for example, poker. I think there's zero value in playing poker. I do not think the game is fun. As a game. Like, gambling is required for that game to exist. Here, I think you could have a reasonable game with interesting cards, and I think that's part of the problem, Chad, is you're seeing these decks that I'm playing, they don't do fun things. So, where were we? Snapping is like betting / raising, but in poker the game is strategically raising and playing the odds. But in Snap, the gameplay isn't betting. There's a game that's betting on top of it for no reason. It depends on how into the betting you are. That's the thing. Yes, I think that the snapping thing is just tacked on and it feels extraneous. However, I think it does impact gameplay, or can. How does it do that? Because there's just a bluffing component. If you're playing against a deck, because things are relatively deterministic, small deck sizes, odds are they're going to hit certain cards by a certain turn, and you probably know their whole deck, or most of it. It's like, oh, well, they're playing on reveal, they have Odin. They're playing a movement, they have Heimdall. They're playing this, they have that. So you know that their big card on 6 is insert card. Do they have it? Well, they snapped on 6 after they drew. How does that impact your thinking about it? Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't, because it's a bluff. Like, yes, your opponent, it's just as likely that it's a bluff as it's not, I guess, because you don't know random person through the internet. It's not like you're playing poker next to the person, you can read them, or you played them a bunch of times so you know what their tendencies are. But yeah, I think it can impact gameplay. I think it does matter. Obviously, if there are tournaments that care about your ladder ranking, which I don't even know how to get to it. That's not it. It's not. This is the season pass. How do you even get to your ladder rank? It's this thing. So like 100 is where you get more stuff as you rank up every 10 levels. I just don't care. I don't know. I think Snap has a lot of potential. I think it sucks. This is one of the big issues, is that you can't see all the cards. So you can see what the characters are, but you can't see. I can't show you what the card is. And this is like the Phobies thing. This is stupid. This is absolutely stupid. But there are interesting and cool effects that happen on some of these cards. I would love to see more cards like Giganto. I think this is actually an interesting way to play around with stuff, and I think more cards should be more restrictive. And I think the game gets way more interesting. It's too late now, because if you print restrictive cards, they're going to have to be super busted to justify beating out things that you can play anywhere, or they're going to have to be, they're just not going to get played. The other problem is the variance in the locations is going to cause lots of issues, because then you end up, oh, I guess I just lose because these locations came up this way. This guy is interesting too. Like, you can set up wombo plays. The problem is, I think there aren't enough cards that interact with, like, hella, I think the discard decks are fun, but they exemplify the problem. One of the problems I have with the design of the game is that you don't interact with your opponent's cards almost at all. There are things that can be done. I just don't know if there's a whole lot that exists right now. Maybe it's fine at the higher levels. Like, there's a tons of cards I haven't seen, but this goes back to the same issue. This goes back to the same issue that I said before, is that the card acquisition is horrendous. I mean, I appreciate that the game is anti-pay to win. As we were saying earlier, it's not necessarily free-to-play friendly. I guess it kind of is. But there is a distinction. I think it is free-to-play friendly. But the problem is that there's no option. So if I want to play this game and I don't have a lot of time, in other card games, I could put in money and catch up so that I could play with the cards I want. Because what happens if my favorite character is whoever the hell this is, and then I literally can't use it because I have to grind a billion games? Yes, you run into the opposite issue of people putting in a ton of money and crapping all over noobs or people that are just playing. So maybe this is ultimately better. Like, there's less people. Like, it's the lesser evil. But that doesn't mean that there aren't problems with it. Honestly, I personally hate it. I just want to log in and play fun games. And I don't feel as though the vast majority of the cards that I've encountered thus far they're just numbers. They don't do anything for the most part. That's why I've been playing the Infinite deck and the Devil Dinosaur deck. I don't mind playing Zoo or Aggro in other games, but I also have an attachment to the characters in other games usually. I have almost verging on zero attachment to Marvel characters, so. I don't know, Chad. I think there's something to this game. I think there's valuable stuff in this game. Free to play versus pay to play. I would generally prefer pay to play, honestly, because most free to play games are ultimately very predatory. Regardless, like, you end up paying more at the end of the day. It sounds great. The only difference is it gives you the ability to demo the game. And that's the thing. Looking at Marvel Snap from a design perspective, from just playing a game perspective, experience with card games, I can see the potential. However, two problems. One, it's taking way too long to get to something interesting for me, and it's problematic. Two, it's a Ben Brode game, so it's entirely possible that it's going to go off in some wild-ass direction that I'm absolutely going to hate. And again, that is not to say that the design choices are bad. A lot of people like Hearthstone. A lot of people like this game. They're just not for me, and that's okay. But that sucks to be me, and that's the way it works. I don't mind free-to-play if there's nothing walled off. I don't mind spending money on free-to-play games. I don't want to spend money to get a thing someone else can't ever have, or can't have for months. Yeah. I don't know, like I said, I think Marvel Snap is a decent game. I just don't know if it's a game for me. That's the bottom line. If you want to come by the live stream and hear all this stuff before it hits YouTube, hit up the link in the description. Also, check out the Discord. Link for that is down there as well. Of course, likes and subscribes definitely help. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. You know the deal. But that's going to do it for now. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.